And then we move on over to better investing, because that was the better borrowing. That was the way that we should borrow. That way we borrow and then we're using the money for something. We're not actually spending the money and then going into debt. All credit is accounted for and acquired for a specific purpose. And then whatever we put that money in, the income that it generated, it should then produce our lifestyle. And if it doesn't actually do that, we have to keep running that cycle until it actually does. All right. So now pillars 4, 5 is the cash and cash flow, which is short and long-term investing. This is actually the better investing section. And what we're going to do is you start off right here. Step 1, you have your in-state company. Right? And if you remember over there, we had our Wyoming. That's the holding company. That holding company, or if you set up a trust, will now own this in-state company. So that's step 1. You have your in-state company, and your credit profile, if you look over here, should be at it says client personal credit profile, should be at a 700 plus personal FICO. You should have at least 10 plus open trade lines, and you should have about 50K personal credit lines right now so you are in that business and you have that. And then on the other side, you should see the client's business credit profile, and your business should have a 75 plus business paydex score with about 10 plus open trade lines and about, let's just say, 100K in business credit lines altogether total. What you're going to do from here is you're going to go down to step 2, and it says company asset pool. And we call it a company asset pool because, as you can see, you're going to put in, it looks like $3 signs there, and then you got out about $5 signs down here. So the whole process is that an asset is something that you put money in, and then you can get money back out of it. That's what an asset is. If you put money into your house, so famously, Robert Kiyosaki says that most people think their houses are assets. And when they first start off, they're not. Their houses are a liability because you start off with money coming out of your pocket when you first get a house. The house may become an asset later if you get enough equity in it, but you got to make it to that point. So by having the mindset that people have said, oh, a house is an asset, most people have jumped into that only to realize it's taking a bill, which is the definition of a liability, like the actual definition of a liability. And the definition of an asset is obviously something that you put money or time into, and then you get a return in it. So what we're doing is we're focusing on taking our personal credit, our business, and instead of doing it in our personal name, which is not the smartest thing to do, everything here is better. So we've set up a in-state company business, which is called your operating business, to handle the operations. So now that we're inside of the company asset pool, that can be any asset, which is why you have a pool that is going to bring you a return. So if there's a real estate deal on the table, that's what you put the money into. If there's a business that you can buy, let's say an e-commerce business, that's what you put the money into. If there's a stock opportunity, an investment opportunity, that's what you put the money into with the expectation of getting a higher return. So once you do that, as you can see, we then move around, and it says right here, every time you put money in, cash or cash flow is created. Simultaneously, a debt is created. But once again, as long as the cash flow or the cash is above the debt created, you can continue to repeat that cycle. And then, as you can see, the money then goes back into the trust, or I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong side. The money is going to go back into the in-state company. So once you've actually made that investment, you got your return, that money goes back to the company. As you can see, there's $5 signs on this side. There's 4 on this side. That's because the business is going to take care of its expenses. If it has any employees, we don't recommend employees. We recommend independent contractors. You will pay all of that. You will expense out everything that needs to be expensed out. And then what's left, which of these 4, would then go up here to your holding company or your trust, whichever one that you had set up. If you have both set up, then it will go to your holding company first. That is the proper way to do that. It goes to your holding company. From there, the owners will then take their distributions, including the trust, and then whatever's remaining, there will be tax paid on. If there's anything remaining, if not, then there's obviously no taxes to be done. And then you will continue to repeat the process. And that is the whole better investing. And once again, that's whether you're doing it in, trading stocks, long-term investing, day trading, Forex, futures, crypto, whether you're doing real estate, whether that's wholesaling, fix and flip, long-term rentals, Airbnb, it doesn't matter. The investment vehicle doesn't matter. It's how you use that investment vehicle, which is what makes it better. That's what makes it better than the person next to you that did it or the person before you that did it. You're trying to do things better because the goal is to overcome the creature. You are aware of that creature and what it's doing to not only your money, but future generations' money, your kids' money, your grandkids' money. You understand that. So you're setting this up so that you can overcome that. And this is the offense. This is now you playing offense and doing it in a way where, once again, when you make the money and you do what you do, you understand that when you go back to the better banking, you understand what you're doing with that money. You're not leaving it down at the bottom in the centralized institutions where now inflation, which is part of the creature, can eat that up. No, what are you doing? You're moving that money to a better spot, to real money, to where you can get a return on it, to where you can protect it. So once again, everything's about adjusting what you're doing now so that it's better than what you were doing before. And if you look at it, just going down through the steps, like I said, step one is your in-state company. It invests 20 to 30% of its available capital into the red circle C. Step two, you get a return on investment from red circle C back to yellow circle B. So this, whatever your company asset pool is going to give a return back. Step three, the net profit and the asset ownership goes to the green circle. And that's key about the asset ownership, because if let's just say you're investing in ownership, you don't want to put it in the name of your in-state company. It's just an operating company. The owner of that will be the holding company, which is exactly what a holding company is. It holds the assets. So super important. Step four, you're then just going to repeat the process until your cash and targeted monthly income goals are reached. And then going through the client journey, there's 5 steps. Step one, short and long-term investing consultation, just to figure out what your goals are, to really look at your real wealth blueprint, to look at the real wealth formula and see what your numbers are. All of that will be taken care of there. Step two, cash and cash flow education. The process begins. So this is when you're actually starting to learn what it is that you're going to be doing within these different steps. So step three is locate, analyze, and close deals through company asset pools, which is the red circle. So that becomes your job, locating, analyzing, and then closing deals. And you always look at things as a deal or a project, because once again, you're not being zeroed down into I'm only looking for real estate, or I'm only looking for products or goods or services that I can sell. Is you're looking for deals, what we call arbitrage, somewhere where you can put money into something and then get more money out, ROI, return on your investment. That's what an investor is. An investor invests. Next thing, step four, net profit. So the profit minus the expenses and any asset ownership passes on to the Wyoming company, which is the green circle A. And then step five, as it says, repeat the process until cash and target monthly income is reached. And once again, that is also step seven. I can see that as I started looking over it, I need to put that up there. But steps 3, 4, 5, and 6 is what we just covered, which are all part of the 6 pillars of real wealth, which, as you know, are broken down into steps. And then those pillars are all part of the better banking, better borrowing, better investing blueprint. So essentially what you're seeing is a defensive strategy to overcome the creature, and then an offensive strategy to overcome the creature. And then you put both of those together and use them in tandem as try to accomplish your real wealth goals. All right. I've explained a lot. Like I said, this is a 10,000-foot view, so I didn't go into a lot of the details, but that's what the subsequent videos are for. This is just to answer your initial question, which is A, what is the creature? Where did it come from? And essentially, how do we overcome that? So I answered those. I'll go ahead and drop this video. All of the comments you can leave up under it. I will answer those. If you are already in the Telegram group, you can just send me a direct message in the group and I will respond there. All right. And as always, you guys have a blessed day.